Hi there, people. This is Spray Love, and today I was waking up and I didn't know what to wear, and spontaneously I went for this one, Amen by Mugler. So, what do I think about this fragrance? It is one of my longest standing warriors, meaning that I have it for quite a long time. In fact, I think that this is a refill from the original bottle. If I recall correctly, this is like a refill on the original bottle that I had. It's amazing. I mean, uh, what can I say more? No, but it's an oriental synthetic fragrance. Uh, I am someone who really likes synthetic fragrances. Sometimes it doesn't really work well with certain types of skins. Certain people will have difficulty with synthetic fragrances. I don't. It just really works super well. My skin type really push it off perfectly well, and I'm very happy with these fragrances. And this one is one of the first synthetic fragrances to kind of embrace the synthetic side, is like the side of things, and decide to create something really novel with it instead of imitating other styles. It kind of imitates the oriental fragrance style, but there is a lot, like it's very complex. There's so many notes, and it's kind of like a surprise box, because every time you wear it, certain notes appear, or like certain notes are more important than you remember, and then you get to see, this note is in there too. It's really good. It's kind of like a puzzle or like, yeah, a surprise box, like, oh, the lily of the valley is there, the honey note, the whatever, and it's all very synthetic, which means that its price is really like very low. When I first smelled it, I was like, oh my god, this is like incredible. Like, I've never smelled anything like that. But I was pretty young in the fragrance game, so I was expecting that this was a fragrance between a lot of fragrances that would actually smell like that, and that I would be disappointed by my choice of actually buying it. But I am not, because there's no fragrances that ever imitated successfully Amen. And the reason why is that it's so complex. I don't even know how, like, I think it's Jacques Uclier that did that. I don't even know how he managed to actually like add up all this stuff and come up with something that's actually wearable, and more than wearable, it's kind of like a masterpiece, and like unimitated masterpiece. Whereas something that got out in the same era was Le Male, and Le Male, although I really think it is a masterpiece, it has been imitated, and there was actually fragrances before Le Male that actually smelled a bit like Le Male. So, but this is like a completely different game, isn't it? It's just like uh, nothing is comparable. No one has succeeded into imitating that stuff. Um, this is the original from 1996, uh, but a reformulation perhaps. I don't know. I don't really follow those reformulation things. I just know I smell, and if it still smells good to me, I go with it. Performance on that is amazing. It's like unbelievable, amazing. Like, you put it on in the morning, and you get, I don't know, 10 hours out of it maybe. The dry down on that is fantastic. It's perhaps even more interesting than the opening. The opening has a tar accord, which for some people is off-putting as hell, because It's very dark and it smells like tar. So tar is not a scent that people really like in general. Yet I find it very interesting for a beginning, and it's just like there's so many notes in there. It's just like a cluster, and then it takes place, and when it takes place is the dry down, and the dry down is like wow, it just opens up and it's magnificent. Right now I am starting the dry down to this fragrance. I think I'm into the dry down, and now it's not that you don't get the tar accord that much. It's more like all those notes and that mysterious like cloud that you get around you. It's another dark and mysterious fragrance. I really like those. um, it's very powerful, it's very like it's almost muscular. I like to wear it when I work out. It gives power and energy. It has a kind of a boozy vibe too, but it really imitates the oriental style fragrances. So it's like one of the first synthetic imitation of trying to get around oud by having like some resinous thing with some animalistic synthetic notes, but it's really actually good. And is it wearable in summertime? And that's something that I've been asked a bit, because when people smell it, it's like, oof, but it's unwearable in summertime probably. But actually, no, it's like it's not cloying at all. The cloud that it makes is really like subjective to the person that is getting past you, and they always pick up the best notes. My mother like hates complex fragrances in general, and when I put this on, she's like, "Oh, it's amazing," and she's like, "It always seems like it's a different fragrance, but it always fits what I want to smell," because there's so many notes that I think the brain just eliminates some of the notes and keep the notes that they want to smell. So it's kind of really nice for that, and it still smells complex. It smells like a lot of notes. It smells like a very dense and oriental, like sweet, but honey sweet. Yet it's not. There's no honey in there because it's completely synthetic. But they managed to use the synthetic components to perform a miracle. I think a miracle of perfumery. Um, and like I said, this is something that people in general really like, but it's something that no one ever wears anymore. Like it's very rare that I actually found people that were like wearing that. Very, very rare. I think I'm perhaps the only person I know who really wears that a lot. Um, Anyone out there who's got a taste for like more oriental, more gutsy, it's kind of bold, yet it is very likable. Which is like there has been some comparison to the nowadays Philip Klein's No Limits, but I think that it's unjustified because it's really not the same kind. Philip Klein is a lot more bold, and it's it's kind of more stinky. It's kind of more like off-putting just to give the kick. This one is not off-putting, and it's perhaps quite classy, even if it is muscular. But I don't know if you know Thierry Mugler a bit. Go Google him. He's a designer from the 90s. He was like one of the top ones, but he's also a bodybuilder. So that kind of, I think that has like this appeal. It's designer sense of classiness, and the bottle was designed by him, and he was quite implicated with the concept of making that fragrance, but also the bodybuilder thing, like the super muscular guy, but still like with an open mind for he wasn't homosexual. there's all of these things were like are kind of contained in that fragrance, which is like a eye-opening welcome to a new era fragrance, but it's still very muscular, very like powerful, and you know, it's a charismatic kind of fragrance. It's charismatic people out there. It's dark and mysterious, oriental, and eyes on the world, eyes on the new technology, and yeah, and designer classiness. So I think that's pretty much it for that fragrance. Yeah, muscular designer classiness. It's very nice. It's like a Arnold Schwarzenegger in a suit, but a really nice, kind of eccentric suit, and very dark. I mean, this is one of the fragrances that I still wear and I love completely. So that being said, spread love, people, and spray love. Bye bye.